Words are powerful. They hold the potential to shape our reality, influence our emotions, and create or destroy relationships. From the simple phrases we utter daily to the profound speeches that alter the course of history, words have a unique ability to impact our world. Yet, many people may not fully understand just how significant their words are, especially when it comes to their relationships with others. So, what does this mean for you? How can you, as an individual, harness the power of your words to improve your life, your relationships, and your connection with others? In today's fast-paced world, we often speak without thinking, reacting impulsively, or using words that we later regret. However, it's important to recognize that words are not just mere sounds or symbols. They are carriers of meaning, and they can either build or destroy. The relationships you have with your family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers can be deeply affected by the words you speak. But the truth is, most of us don't pay enough attention to the power of our words until something significant happens, like an argument, a misunderstanding, or a missed opportunity due to what was said. But what if we could use words more intentionally? What if we could choose our words with care, knowing that they can create harmony, encourage others, and help us build a positive and peaceful life? To answer these questions, let's turn to the wisdom found in the scriptures, which remind us that words, when used wisely, have the power to create something extraordinary. As we explore the biblical perspective on words and their transformative potential, we'll learn how to apply this wisdom in our everyday lives, leading to better relationships and a more fulfilling life. Before we dive deeper, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, because the message we're going to explore today is truly life-changing. So, stay with me until the end, and I promise you will walk away with some practical insights on how to harness the power of words in a way that enriches your relationships and helps you become a better version of yourself. Let's get started. Words are not just a tool for communication. They are a powerful force that can shape the very fabric of our reality. This is a truth that transcends human understanding and is deeply rooted in the divine. The Bible speaks extensively about the power of words, not just in the way we speak to one another, but also in the way we speak to ourselves and to God. In fact, the scriptures offer profound insights into how our words can impact our lives, relationships, and even our destiny. The Bible begins with words. In the very first chapter of Genesis, we read, "And God said, 'Let there be light.' And there was light." Genesis 1 verse 3. From the very beginning, God demonstrated the extraordinary power of words. With a single utterance, He created the universe, brought forth light, and set the world into motion. God's words are not merely sounds. They are creative, life-giving forces that have the power to bring things into existence. In the same way, the words we speak can have a profound impact on the world around us. But what does this mean for us? How can we tap into the same power that God used when He spoke the universe into existence? The answer lies in understanding the divine purpose behind words and how they are meant to be used in our lives. God's word is not just a set of instructions or rules. It is a living, breathing force that carries the power to heal, to restore, and to transform. In fact, the Bible says that the word of God is sharper than any double-edged sword. Hebrews 4 verse 12. Able to divide between soul and spirit, to discern the thoughts and intentions of the heart. When God speaks, His words penetrate to the deepest parts of our being and bring about change. Likewise, our words hold immense power. Proverbs 18 verse 21 tells us, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." This verse highlights the incredible potential of our words to either build up or tear down. Every time we speak, we are either speaking life or death into our situations. Whether we are speaking words of encouragement, kindness, and truth, or words of criticism, anger, and negativity, we are shaping the world around us. The Bible warns us that our words are so powerful that they can even determine the course of our lives. In James 3 verses 5 to 6, it says, "The tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue also is a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. This imagery of the tongue as a fire serves as a powerful reminder of the destructive potential of words. A single careless word, spoken in anger or frustration, can set off a chain reaction of pain and conflict. Just as a small spark can ignite a raging forest fire, a single word can spread hurt, division, and bitterness. But on the flip side, words can also bring peace, healing, and restoration. Proverbs 16 verse 24 tells us, "Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones." Gracious words have the power to heal, to soothe wounds, and to restore relationships. They are like honey, sweet and nourishing, bringing life to those who hear them. God also teaches us to be mindful of the words we speak in our relationships with others. Jesus himself said in Matthew 12 verses 36 to 37, "But I tell you that everyone will have to give account on the day of judgment for every empty word they have spoken. For by your words you will be acquitted, and by your words you will be condemned." This is a sobering reminder that our words matter to God. They are not just fleeting expressions, but they carry eternal significance. The way we use our words can either reflect our character and our relationship with God, or reveal the areas where we still need to grow and change. It is important to note that God's perspective on words goes beyond mere etiquette or social norms. In God's eyes, the words we speak are a reflection of what is in our hearts. In Luke 6 verse 45, Jesus says, "A good man brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart, and an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of." Our words are a direct overflow of what we are storing up inside. If our hearts are filled with bitterness, anger, or unforgiveness, our words will reflect that. But if our hearts are filled with love, grace, and compassion, our words will reflect those qualities as well. This is why God calls us to guard our hearts and be intentional with our words. Proverbs 4 verse 23 urges us, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." The heart is the wellspring of our words, and if we are not careful, our words can become poisoned by negative emotions or unhealed wounds. But when our hearts are aligned with God's truth and His love, our words will reflect His character and bring life to those around us. As we move forward in this message, it's essential to remember that the power of words is not just limited to our interactions with others. The words we speak to ourselves and to God also have immense power. We can speak life into our own hearts, affirming God's promises and declaring His truth over our lives. In the same way, when we speak to God in prayer, we are engaging in a powerful exchange of words that can transform our hearts, our circumstances, and our relationship with Him. God's Word, the Bible, is the ultimate source of truth and life. It is through His Word that we are able to understand His will, receive His promises, and speak His truth into our lives and the lives of others. As we grow in our understanding of the power of words, let us remember to speak with intention, to speak life, and to use our words to reflect God's love and grace to the world around us. Words have an undeniable influence on our daily lives. From the moment we wake up to the time we go to bed, our words shape the course of our day, affect our relationships, and determine our emotional and mental state, whether we realize it or not. The language we use plays a significant role in how we perceive ourselves, others, and the world around us. The power of words extends far beyond what is spoken aloud. They can also impact our thoughts, attitudes, and behaviors, often in ways that are not immediately visible. Understanding the profound impact of words is key to navigating our lives with purpose, positivity, and spiritual growth. The influence of words begins in our interactions with others. Every conversation, every comment, every word of encouragement or criticism holds the potential to affect someone's life. As we go about our day, we are constantly speaking to family members, colleagues, friends, and even strangers. In these interactions, our words can either uplift or tear down. In a world where people often face daily challenges, struggles, and personal battles, The words we speak can be a source of light or darkness. Proverbs 12 verse 18 offers a powerful reminder of this truth. The words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. A careless or thoughtless word can wound deeply, leaving scars that may last for years. On the other hand, wise and kind words have the ability to heal, to mend broken spirits, and to bring peace to troubled hearts. The impact of our words, therefore, extends far beyond the moment of their utterance. They have the power to shape the trajectory of relationships, to build trust, and to foster understanding. Whether we are comforting a friend, offering advice to a colleague, or simply engaging in a casual conversation, we must always be mindful of the potential of our words to bring healing or harm. In addition to their effect on others, our words also influence our own lives. We speak to ourselves constantly, even if it is not always out loud. The internal dialogue we have with ourselves shapes our thoughts, emotions, and actions. The Bible speaks to this when it says in Proverbs 23 verse 7, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." The way we speak to ourselves reflects our beliefs about who we are, what we are capable of, and what we deserve in life. If we constantly speak negative words over ourselves, such as, "I am not good enough," or "I can't do this," we reinforce feelings of inadequacy, fear, and self-doubt. These words become internalized and affect our confidence, decision-making, and overall well-being. Conversely, when we speak words of affirmation and encouragement to ourselves, we are building up our inner strength and resilience. The Bible encourages us to speak words of life and truth, especially in times of difficulty. In Isaiah 55 verse 11, God declares, "So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it." This verse highlights the power of God's word to bring about transformation, and it serves as a reminder that the words are not just tools for communication, they are instruments of creation. When we understand the true power of words, we realize that they can be used to shape our reality. As we look to the world around us, it becomes clear that every change, every breakthrough, every success has been preceded by words. From the spoken words that inspire movements and revolutions to the quiet affirmations that drive personal transformation, words have an extraordinary ability to bring about new realities. The Bible speaks repeatedly about the power of words in creating and shaping the world. In the book of Genesis, we see God himself using words to create the universe. In Genesis 1 verse 3, it is written, "And God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light." This simple declaration set the entire creation process in motion. God's words brought order, structure, and beauty to the world. As humans, created in God's image, we are endowed with the same ability to use words to bring forth creation, transformation, and change. The words we speak, whether in prayer, in conversation, or in our internal dialogue, have the power to shape the world we live in. One of the most powerful ways that we can use words to create a new reality is through positive affirmation. Positive affirmations are statements that reflect our desired reality, rather than our current circumstances. By speaking these affirmations aloud or thinking them in our hearts, we align ourselves with the future we wish to create. Proverbs 18 verse 21 reminds us of the gravity of our words, saying, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." The fruit of our words is the life we experience. If we speak words of success, abundance, and health, we are sowing seeds that will eventually produce those very things in our lives. When we use words of affirmation, we are not only aligning ourselves with the future we desire, but also reinforcing a mindset that supports our goals. For instance, instead of saying, "I am always struggling with my finances," we can choose to say, "I am prosperous and capable of managing my finances wisely." This shift in language can alter our thoughts and beliefs, leading us to take actions that align with our new mindset. Our words have the power to influence not just our inner world, but also the external circumstances that we face. Words also have the power to transform the atmosphere around us. In times of uncertainty or fear, Our words can be a source of comfort, peace, and hope. In situations where conflict arises, our words can de-escalate tension and bring about resolution. When we speak words of encouragement, love, and grace, we invite positive change into our environment. This can be particularly impactful in our homes, workplaces, and communities. Through intentional use of language, we can create spaces where healing and growth occur, replacing negativity with peace and understanding. Another profound way that words create a new reality is through the act of prayer. When we pray, we are communicating with God, and our words have the power to invoke His presence and intervention. Jesus Himself emphasized the importance of speaking words of faith and trust in God. In Matthew 17, verse 20, He said, "If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." In this verse, Jesus is teaching us that our words, when coupled with faith, have the ability to move mountains. This is not just a figurative statement, but a powerful invitation to partner with God in creating change in our lives and the world around us. By speaking words of faith, we activate God's power to work in our lives. Similarly, our words shape the relationships we have with others. In every interaction, we have the opportunity to create a positive or negative outcome. The language we use when speaking to others has the ability to either build up or tear down. For example, a simple compliment or expression of appreciation can brighten someone's day and strengthen a relationship, while words of criticism or judgment can create distance and hurt feelings. By using words intentionally, we can foster environments where trust, love, and collaboration thrive. It's important to understand that words do not merely reflect reality, they can create it. The Bible affirms this in Romans 4 verse 17, where Paul speaks of God, saying, He calls things that are not as though they were. This verse exemplifies the creative power of words. God speaks things into existence that do not yet exist in the physical realm. In the same way, we too have the power to declare things that are not yet visible in our lives, but are aligned with God's will for us. When we speak God's promises over our lives, we invite His reality into our present circumstances. For instance, if we are struggling with illness, we can speak God's healing over our bodies. By His stripes, I am healed. Isaiah 53 verse 5. By declaring these words in faith, we begin to align ourselves with God's will for healing, and we create a new reality rooted in His promises. In order to create a new reality with our words, we must be intentional and mindful of the language we use. It's not enough to simply speak positive words occasionally. We must develop a consistent habit of speaking life over every area of our lives. Whether we are praying, affirming our goals, or interacting with others, we must remember that our words are powerful instruments that can either create a flourishing reality or hinder our progress. By choosing words that reflect faith, hope, and truth, we partner with God in creating a life that is full of purpose, peace, and fulfillment. As we continue to use words to create a new reality, let us remember that we are not alone in this endeavor. God is with us, empowering us to speak words of life and transformation. With His help, our words can become powerful tools for creating the reality we desire, one that aligns with His perfect plan for our lives. And just as He spoke the world into existence, we too can use our words to shape the world around us, bringing His kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. In a world that is filled with constant noise, social media, news, conversations, and the hum of daily life, it is increasingly rare to find moments of true silence. Yet, silence is more than just the absence of sound. It is a powerful tool for reflection, growth, and wisdom. Silence offers us the space to listen, observe, and understand on a deeper level. In fact, silence can often be the most profound response, revealing more than words ever could. In this section, we will explore the role of silence in cultivating wisdom, its connection to spiritual growth, and how we can embrace it in our daily lives. The Bible speaks about the value of silence in several verses, particularly in the context of listening to God and seeking His guidance. Psalm 46 verse 10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." This simple but profound instruction invites us into a moment of stillness, away from the distractions and noise of life, to recognize God's presence and sovereignty. Silence in this context is not just about quieting our surroundings, but quieting our minds and hearts to hear the still small voice of God. It is in these moments of silence that we are most receptive to His wisdom. Silence is often considered a form of humility. In Proverbs 15 verse 28, we read, "The heart of the righteous weighs its answers, but the mouth of the wicked gushes evil." The righteous take time to reflect before speaking, allowing them to speak words of wisdom rather than rushing to respond. This principle holds true in many aspects of life, whether in a heated discussion, a difficult decision, or a personal challenge. Taking a moment of silence allows us to reflect on our thoughts, align ourselves with truth, and respond with wisdom. Silence prevents hasty words that may be impulsive, reactive, or harmful. Instead, it gives us the ability to choose our words carefully, ensuring they are thoughtful and measured. In addition to fostering humility, silence also opens the door for self-reflection. When we are silent, we create an opportunity to examine our thoughts, actions, and motivations. It is easy to become caught up in the noise of external influences, but silence allows us to turn inward, discovering the deeper truths within us. In 1 Kings 19 verses 11 to 12, we find the story of Elijah, who experienced God's voice not in the wind, earthquake, or fire, but in a gentle whisper. Sometimes, it is in the quiet moments of our lives that we encounter profound revelations about ourselves, our purpose, and our relationship with God. Moreover, silence can be a powerful teacher. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus often withdrew to quiet places to pray and seek guidance from His Father. In Matthew 14 verse 23, it says, "After He had dismissed them, He went up on a mountainside by Himself to pray. Later that night, He was there alone." Jesus understood the importance of silence and solitude in strengthening His connection with God. It was in these times of silence that He gained the clarity, strength, and direction needed to fulfill His divine mission. Likewise, silence offers us the opportunity to connect more deeply with God, to hear His voice, and to receive His wisdom and peace. Silence also enhances our ability to listen, not just to God, but to others. In our busy lives, we can sometimes become so preoccupied with our own thoughts and opinions that we fail to truly listen to those around us. Yet, listening is one of the most powerful acts of love and understanding. James 1 verse 19 reminds us, "Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." This verse encourages us to create space for others to express themselves fully, without interruption or judgment. Silence allows us to give others our undivided attention, demonstrating empathy and care. In turn, it fosters stronger relationships, deeper connections, and greater understanding. The wisdom of silence is not limited to listening to others. It also enables us to listen to ourselves. In moments of silence, we can hear our own hearts and minds more clearly, gaining insight into our desires, struggles, and needs. Often, we are so busy with the demands of life that we neglect to check in with ourselves. Silence provides the mental and emotional space to do just that. When we listen to ourselves in the quiet, we become more self-aware and better equipped to make decisions that align with our values and aspirations. Another aspect of silence is its role in spiritual discipline. In many religious traditions, silence is practiced as a form of meditation or prayer. It is in the stillness that we are able to commune with God, not through our words, but through our presence. This practice of silence cultivates a deeper spiritual connection and allows us to experience God's love and guidance in a more profound way. In the Psalms, David often writes about his experience of waiting on God in silence. Psalm 62, verse 1 says, "My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him." In silence, we learn to trust and rest in God's presence, letting go of our need to control or rush. We recognize that God is present, even when we are not speaking, and that He is at work in our lives in ways we may not fully understand. Silence also plays a significant role in our ability to discern the will of God. In a world filled with distractions, it can be difficult to hear His voice. The noise of everyday life can drown out the gentle whisper of God's guidance. Silence creates the necessary space for us to listen carefully and hear His direction. Jesus often took moments of silence to be alone with His Father, and in those times, He received the clarity He needed to carry out His mission. We, too, can practice silence to discern God's will in our lives. By quieting our hearts and minds, we create room for God's wisdom to shine through. Furthermore, silence has a healing quality. It allows us to process our emotions, release tension, and experience inner peace. In times of grief, loss, or stress, silence provides a sanctuary where we can grieve, heal, and find comfort. It is often in these moments of solitude that we are able to experience God's peace, which surpasses all understanding. Philippians 4 verse 7. When we are silent before God, we allow Him to work in our hearts, bringing restoration and wholeness. In conclusion, silence is far more than the absence of sound. It is a powerful tool for wisdom, growth, and spiritual connection. In silence, we can listen, reflect, discern, and experience the presence of God in ways that words cannot express. As we embrace silence in our daily lives, we open ourselves to the wisdom it brings, allowing it to guide us in our relationships, decisions, and spiritual journeys. Just as Jesus withdrew to quiet places to seek His Father's will, we too can find strength, clarity, and peace in moments of silence. In a noisy world, silence is a precious gift, one that we must learn to cherish and embrace. In a world where communication is constant, mastering both our speech and the silence between words can transform our relationships, decision-making, and personal well-being. The ability to control our words and strategically use silence is not only a tool for personal growth, but also a way to influence the environments and interactions around us. It is important to recognize that both speech and silence carry weight, and how we manage them can deeply impact our emotional states and the outcomes of our conversations. The first step in mastering our words is to understand the power they hold. Proverbs 18 verse 21 says, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." This teaches us that words are far from neutral. They can either build up or tear down, heal or harm. Recognizing this power is crucial for speaking with intention. One of the simplest and most effective techniques for controlling words is to pause before responding. When faced with a difficult or emotional situation, we often feel the urge to speak immediately. However, pausing allows us to consider our words carefully, choosing a response that aligns with our values and goals. Proverbs 17 verse 27 reminds us, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered." This pause gives us the space to reflect and ensures that our responses are thoughtful rather than reactive. The next technique involves active listening, which is closely linked to the control of words. When we listen intently and genuinely to others, we engage with their words not just as background noise, but as valuable information. Active listening helps us understand the other person's perspective, which in turn allows us to craft our response with empathy and clarity. Proverbs 18 verse 13 teaches, "To answer before listening, that is folly and shame." By truly listening, we avoid misunderstandings and ensure that our words are appropriate to the conversation at hand. It also enables us to speak less often, but more meaningfully. Another essential aspect of controlling our words lies in being mindful of our tone and body language. While the words we speak are vital, the manner in which we deliver them can completely alter their meaning. A gentle tone can turn away wrath, while a harsh one can escalate conflict. Proverbs 15 verse 1 advises, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." Our tone and nonverbal cues, such as facial expressions and posture, often communicate more than the words themselves. By controlling our tone and body language, we ensure that our words and intentions align, leading to clearer and more harmonious communication. Furthermore, it is important to think before speaking. This involves evaluating not only the content of our words, but also the potential impact they may have on others. Are we about to encourage, uplift, or empower? Or are we unwittingly about to cause harm or sow discord? Jesus reminds us in Matthew 12 verse 36, "But I tell you that everyone will have to give account on the day of judgment for every empty word they have spoken." By reflecting on our words before speaking, we avoid regrettable statements and ensure that our speech is aligned with our values. Lastly, the use of positive language is a powerful technique. Choosing to speak positively rather than focusing on negatives can create an atmosphere of encouragement and possibility. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but rather framing them in a way that invites solutions and progress. For instance, instead of saying, "This is impossible," we might say, "This is difficult, but I believe we can find a way through it." Such reframing inspires hope and fosters a positive mindset, not just in ourselves, but in those around us. Proverbs 16 verse 24 beautifully illustrates this. "Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones." Positive language, when consistently practiced, can have a profound effect on the dynamics of any interaction. While words hold immense power, silence is equally potent. Silence is often overlooked or misunderstood, yet it can be just as impactful as speaking. Silence is not merely the absence of words. It is the intentional withholding of speech for a particular purpose. One of the most powerful ways to use silence is during moments of conflict or emotional intensity. In such situations, the urge to speak out of frustration or anger is strong, but silence serves as a cooling agent. Rather than reacting immediately with hurtful words, we can choose to remain silent for a moment, allowing our emotions to settle and our thoughts to clarify. Proverbs 29 verse 11 says, "Fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end." By embracing silence, we avoid saying things in the heat of the moment that we may later regret, and we give ourselves the opportunity to respond more thoughtfully. Silence can also be used as a tool for reflection. In our fast-paced world, we are often bombarded with external noise and distractions. However, creating space for silence, whether through meditation, prayer, or simply taking a quiet moment, can help us reconnect with our inner selves. Psalm 46 verse 10 calls us to be still and know that I am God. In these moments of stillness, we are often able to hear our inner voice, gain clarity, and understand what truly matters. Silence helps us reflect on our actions, motivations, and relationships, leading to deeper self-awareness and insight. Lastly, silence can be used in communication as a deliberate choice. There are times when saying nothing speaks volumes. For example, when someone is sharing something vulnerable, a thoughtful silence can communicate empathy and support, rather than interrupting or offering unsolicited advice. Simply being present in silence can be one of the most powerful forms of communication. In this way, silence fosters a deeper connection and allows for more authentic exchanges. By cultivating both the control of words and the strategic use of silence, we can enhance the quality of our communication. We can speak with intention, listen with empathy, and create an environment where our words and silence align with our deepest values. This mastery not only transforms our conversations, but also enriches our lives and relationships. Whether we are speaking or remaining silent, we are constantly shaping the world around us. And it is through this careful balance that we create meaningful and impactful interactions. The power of words and silence is immeasurable. Both are tools we can wield to shape our lives, our relationships, and the world around us. Through understanding the impact of our speech and silence, we have the ability to communicate more effectively, create a positive environment, and cultivate a life that reflects our true values. As we have explored throughout this discussion, controlling our words and using silence with purpose requires awareness, discipline, and intentionality. It is not an easy task, but it is an essential one for personal growth and well-being. Words are not just expressions of thought. They are forces that can build up or tear down. They have the power to bring healing, joy, and hope, or to create division, pain, and resentment. By practicing mindfulness in our speech, we can ensure that our words are used to uplift, encourage, and inspire. It is important to remember that every word we speak has an impact, whether in our personal relationships, our communities, or even in our own hearts. Proverbs 15 verse 4 tells us, "The soothing tongue is a tree of life, but a perverse tongue crushes the spirit." In every conversation, we have the opportunity to choose whether our words will be a tree of life or a source of harm. At the same time, silence plays a critical role in our communication. Silence is not just the absence of words, but a powerful tool for reflection, emotional regulation, and connection. In the midst of conflict or tension, silence can provide the space needed to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. In moments of vulnerability, silence can be a source of comfort and understanding, allowing others to express themselves freely without fear of judgment or interruption. Psalm 46 verse 10 reminds us to be still and know that I am God, encouraging us to embrace moments of stillness where we can find peace, clarity, and deeper understanding. Mastering the balance between words and silence is not something that happens overnight. It takes time, patience, and a willingness to reflect on our own habits and patterns of communication. But the rewards are worth the effort. As we become more intentional in our speech and more mindful of our silences, we create a space for deeper connection, more authentic relationships, and a greater sense of inner peace. We learn to listen with empathy, speak with purpose, and embrace silence as a source of wisdom. In closing, I encourage you to take these principles into your daily life. Pay attention to the words you speak, and consider the impact they may have on those around you. Are they uplifting? Are they encouraging? Are they thoughtful and kind? If not, take a moment to pause, reflect, and choose your words more carefully. Remember that every conversation is an opportunity to build or destroy, to bring peace or conflict. Choose to speak life. Also, embrace silence as a tool for growth and self-awareness. Use moments of silence to reflect on your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Allow silence to become a space where you can listen deeply to others, understand their perspectives, and offer your presence without the need for words. Trust that in the quiet moments, you can find clarity, guidance, and a deeper connection with yourself and others. As you move forward, be intentional about cultivating both your words and your silences. Practice speaking with intention, listening with empathy, and embracing silence with wisdom. Through these practices, you will not only transform the way you communicate, but also the way you engage with the world around you. The power to shape your reality, your relationships, and your life lies in your hands, and it begins with the words you speak and the silence you choose. Let your words be a source of life, and may your silences be filled with wisdom.